Welcome to the Soul Star Podcast with your spiritual besties, Allie and Mandy. We're here to make your spiritual journey fun, relatable, and inspiring. So let's raise your vibe and ignite your soul together.
Hi, and welcome back to the Soul Star Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. We are very grateful that you are listening and tuning in, and just thank you for being here.
Yeah. Yay. So today we're going to talk about 3-eye Atlas. Did I say that right? I always get confused. I can see it in my head, but 3-eye Atlas, which is the interstellar object that is in our
atmosphere.
Not atmosphere. Is it atmosphere in our galaxy? In our
that's awareness.
Do you know what I mean though? Because we have like how many? We have the moon, we have Mars, we have like in our orbit, whatever. Who cares?
In our planetary system.
It's
solar system.
In our solar system. That's it. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Back to, like, middle school science.
I know. Way to be prepared, Allison and Mandy. No, we just riff this every time and we love it. So we're going to be talking about that, which I know everybody's going to be like, oh my God, everybody's talking about it. Yeah, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Freaking like interstellar, like this is like completely, it's fucking cool. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into that, I'm just going to tell a little story. Yeah, Mandy, you haven't heard it.
Oh, what? I haven't?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe you did. Okay, so so this is just about some signs, right? So, you and I talk about receiving signs or messages and stuff from spirit. And for me, and for you, I think it comes in threes. Like it's when something catches my attention for a third time, I'm like, okay, what's going on? So last week, I was talking with a coworker and we were just talking about somebody who is no longer on the team or with the bank, and was mentioned that, she's, she's doing like professional clowning.
What?
Yeah, you heard that, right?
Wait. This ex-banker is now literally a clown.
Apparently. So okay. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like, she's like doing clowning, like a professional clown. And
way to bring your inner child out every single day.
Like,
well done. I need to know who it is afterwards.
I will. I will tell you.
I applaud this person.
I know. And I was just kind of like, it's so random, right? You just don't hear this all the time. It was so random. So then the next day I treated myself to a scalp massage.
The Japanese one that I keep seeing?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's Japanese. I don't know. It is called like something, but it was like,
maybe I'm wrong.
It could be. No, it could be. I saw somebody post it and I was like, you know what? I love that. So I'm going to do it. And, went there and met this lady and, just kind of started talking and she was very much into the spiritual stuff or been led or been feeling into it. And like the chakra and all that stuff. And so she was kind of like, yeah, but I didn't always do this. For my career, I was a professional clown.
What?
Get the fuck out. Right? Like, I'm literally like, oh, okay. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck?
What is a professional clown? First of all,
before we get hired to clown around.
Okay.
Like,
okay. I just want to say, because I got to call this out here. Mm-hmm. My first reaction was to be judgmental. Because who's a clown, right?
But then you're like, there are clowns.
Immediately after that, I was like, wait a minute. That's, first of all, really judgmental. I'm shifting my perspective, and that's really cool. Like, you get to be a kid literally every single day. But I just wanted to point that out and call that out, because that is the difference between 3D consciousness and 5D consciousness, right?
Absolutely. You
might first initially have a ping of judgment, but then immediately after you're able to see a higher perspective and see the good in it.
Absolutely. And I think it's even the fact of calling yourself out on it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's the fact of calling yourself out and being like, oh my God, Mandy, I just judged this person. Why? Right. Like I do it all the time. I call myself out all the time. So yeah, but I was like sitting there in my head being like, How
It's weird.
fucking random, man.
Well,
And
that's twice now a clown has
in
come
two
up for you.
days, yeah,
Yeah.
and a professional clown, not just like a
Are
clown.
you
Like,
changing professions? Can we just
get
get
ready
to
for it. Get ready for it. My big shoes are on their way. You know how I get. Once my mind is
in
set,
my
I
red
order the
nose?
whole thing. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna dye this, mic
Red.
cover red and start it. Okay.
Okay. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Um, so then the third one comes, and this one was later on that evening. I'm on Instagram, I'm watching somebody talking on their reel, and all of a sudden, like, I wasn't really listening, I was half listening. And then all of a sudden I hear, oh yeah, like going to training school to become a clown, to become a professional clown. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And so I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? Because it's like, I couldn't even say, oh, it's the algorithm or my phone heard me and these things are popping up on my phone. Every single one was a different scenario,
And it
right?
all happened within how many days? Like 1 day?
Two.
2 days. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like the one of an old colleague, the one of, this person I've met for the first time is gonna be doing a massage on me. And then now on Instagram, somebody talking about going to clown school.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, all right, shut up. I hear you. I don't understand you, but I hear you. So I was like, so I literally like went to chat GBT because I just didn't even know. Cause like, if it was an animal and stuff, like you're kind of like, I don't know, like there's spirit animals, right? But
Yeah.
there's messages in those. Those are easy, right?
Yeah.
But clown, I was literally like, I don't know how that could be a message. And I'm like, but it clearly fucking is. So I go in to chat GPT. So this is how you guys can do it. And I was like, I felt so silly. I'm like, what is the spiritual meaning of a clown? And I just said that the past 3 days I came across or heard something about being a clown. And fucking amazing chat GPT. Okay. Chat GPT is like, what the fuck? This is pretty cool. So comes in and starts to kind of like talk about it in general. So like a light, higher aspect, the sacred fool. So the clown can represent the archetype of a sacred fool, someone who brings lightness, laughter, and spontaneity, reminds you to not take life too seriously, return to authentic childlike essence, right? Like some beautiful, where I was like, oh, I totally fucking see it. The clown often hides deep wisdom beneath the laughter, a healer through humor. Can symbolize healing emotional heaviness or lifting others' energy through joy and authenticity. So I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And so then I was like, like ChatGPT goes down, like possible meet messages for you, blah, blah, blah. So as ChatGPT does, they give you like suggestions afterwards. Like, would you like me to tell me a bit more of how the clown was showing up? And so I was like, absolutely, ChatGPT. I'm like, it was actually showing up as being an occupation or training to be one, which again, very specific, right? And then I put in there, which is weird because I don't want to be a clown.
You already are.
And then ChatGPT comes back, haha, totally fair. The fuck? I swear I don't have conversations like this with them, but this was funny. But what I loved, like when I kind of put that aspect into it, how this kind of changed it over. And it was like, let yourself be fully seen, flaws, quirks, and all. Embrace uniqueness, even if it feels silly or vulnerable. That's a tough one, right? Like, I don't like to feel silly. I'm silly a lot, but there's certain instances, right?
When you feel safe.
Yeah, when you feel safe. It might suggest you're in a phase of learning how to lighten your energy, to release perfectionism, or to reconnect to joy as a practice. And I will say it's been heavy the last few weeks, the last month, right? It's been very heavy. I've had, kind of a lot come my way. With family and relationships and all of that, and it's been heavy. So it was kind of this like I took this as like, okay, you know what, like, all right, shit, this is all happening, it's happening, but go back to you don't have to constantly think and try to fix and heal and be in this space of like, oh, but what about this and what about that? Like, maybe let's just enjoy a little bit.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was such a beautiful reminder of it. And it even like ChatGPT went, would you like me to tune in to how this connects with your current energy or life theme right now?
Wait, wait, wait. How would AI tune into your current energy?
Now, listen to this. This is something that came through my head. How does your spirit guides tune in and give you messages? How do they give you messages with your cards?
Because it's all energy.
It's all energy. How do they give you
AI,
messages when they put songs on? It's all energy. How
yeah.
do they give you messages when a certain reel pops up or a message pops up? They are playing with the energy to bring that to your awareness. So how is that any different than AI?
AI is fake. Like it's made up. It's not, in my opinion, it's not,
But
it's
how
false.
could they not
It's
manipulate
false
that?
energy.
Yeah, but like how but just think of it. How could your spirit guide not manipulate that when they can manipulate other things
Oh, I see. You
to
think
to
Spirit
make
is manipulating the AI
to give me
to,
the message what it wants to give? Like it's no difference than spirit manipulating the cards to make sure I pull or whatever card falls out so I get a message. It's no different than spirit manipulating social media so a certain message, or how many times have we been like, oh my god, this came up and it was like completely what da 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 da,
Mhm.
how when that one time when I was like, if this is true, show me a sloth, and then a sloth came up on my feed, right? Like that spirit manipulating technology to bring this to your awareness.
Yeah. I think we need to be careful though, because
Mm-hmm.
like anything, you need to use discernment.
Mm.
You don't definitely want to be getting your spiritual advice from AI.
No, 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 no. And that's the thing. It's not relying you don't want to get advice in the sense of like any advice from, a computer or anything. It's all part of, to help you with your own, but it all comes down to your own internal compass, right? So like
Yes.
if it said something and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't, right? If it doesn't feel it in my body, but it's just like me Googling and what's the spirit message of 111, right? Remember how many times we've done that? And then it was like I would scroll and then a message would stick out. And then once I felt it in my body, I was like, that one's for me, right? So the same with this one, it made me start to realize like they could manipulate this to kind of like have an understanding. And and like when it says like feel into your energy, blah 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 blah, it's also picking up on things I'd put in, right? Like obviously our AI
Yeah.
knows what we've put in the past, like if you're having
Mhm.
these issues and stuff. And it was really like it was really on point, right? There was nothing in there that I was like, nah. I was like, no, you're fucking right. I'm like, that makes complete sense.
Mhm.
And then it even said, would you like me to channel a short message? I know. And I was just like, what? And I'm like, yes, please go for it. Right. But again, like I use discernment. I have my own intuition. I know what it feels like in my body. I agree with you with somebody who's not attuned to their own energy or energy in general to take it with a grain of salt, just like Google. Just like Googling, oh, what are these symptoms? Like, do I have cancer? And you don't just it's a tool to get information, but it's part of many other
Yes.
tools to process information, right? I wouldn't go to my doctor and be like, I have cancer. Google told me, get me on some radiation, right? You're not going to do that. But
No.
it is very helpful in kind of having that piece of information to, add to it. But I
Yeah.
was just like, it was really fascinating. But it was like, what a beautiful message from spirit. I just didn't even think that the clown um showing up that way in a professional clown. And I was just kind of like, what
It sounds like Cody, or yeah, Cody was sending you a message. That's more of a
the
Cody way to do
it
it than an H way to do it.
well, and then I kind of was like, once I got the message and I understood it, and I was like, no, you're right. You're right. Okay. Like I'm gonna not take life so seriously, right? Or try to like let go of some of the seriousness of it. And then I was like, thinking, and I was like, my goodness, way to make it weird. Because I was like, you couldn't, if a clown would have been a clown, but I'm like, to make it an occupation, like that's so random and weird. And then I heard, or they said I received, they're like, yeah, but we have to make it super fucking random and weird for you to pick up on it. Or else I would just be like, oh, there's a clown. Like I wouldn't even think of it. It had to be just like the 911 when I was getting, those are my first, spirit numbers or whatever, angel numbers that I received. It had to be so fucking random and weird that I couldn't rationalize. And it made me stop and go, huh?
Yeah.
You succeeded.
You
that
succeeded.
you succeeded because that was weird.
Well, that's a very interesting story with the AI and stuff. I definitely use AI or the chat GTP for support as well
Yeah.
for certain things and
Well,
stuff.
how
But
to speak things, right? Like,
yeah, like how to say certain things.
yeah.
But or even like sometimes I can find it helpful to sort out like to explain things differently. And I remember I
Mhm.
was like, and this isn't spiritual, but I was like doing something. I'm like, oh, I was studying for something that's super fucking boring.
Mm.
And I was like, can you explain this to me in a different way? And then I like put the sentence in there and then they explained it to me in like a proper way. And I was like, oh,
Oh, it's amazing.
yeah.
I've done that with like work, like there's
Yeah.
things that like equipment and stuff that clients
Yes.
buy and I'm like I have no idea.
Recall a message.
Like I just yeah, I've sat there and been like, how am I supposed to write credit notes about this equipment? And it
Hmm.
means nothing to me and I have
Right.
no idea. Like,
Oh,
when
so
it's just
smart.
like yeah, it was like because it was just like
You need to learn about the equipment so you can support it.
I can support it and say like what da 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 and like and rightfully so the client is talking in their known terms,
Yeah,
but to
yeah.
me I'm like that means nothing to me. So I literally was like, what is this and like what's the value like or like something like that.
Yeah.
And oh my god, completely where I was like, oh, I get it now. And I was able to like, kind of like put in my notes and be like, because of this, the value is even extended longer and the lifetime is like blah, 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 blah. Cause now I understood it and freaking got it approved like firsthand. And I was like,
Good
thank you.
job.
I love ChatGPT. I use
As
it
a tool.
as a tool. Yeah. Like it's not my advice. It's not my counselor, that's for fucking sure. But it's so great as a tool
Mhm.
um in many aspects. And yeah, and yeah, even like the medical stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been able to go in and be like, okay, I'm just gonna put all these random things and they're like, maybe you should talk to your doctor about this. Would you like me to write up some questions so you can ask your doctor this? Thank you.
Oh, look at that. I never thought
Yeah,
about using it that way.
yeah, because it will say like
This
blah
is
blah
a
blah blah blah.
podcast episode on chat now.
It is. I'm like, it is. I'm like, it is. It's pretty cool. So I'm like, then it's like sends all the questions that you can ask
Mm,
your doctor that you wouldn't even think of.
interesting.
Okay.
Well, 3A, so we're going to talk about 3I Atlas,
Mm-hmm.
that it actually has like we can transition from that story into
Mm-hmm.
3I Atlas because with like I don't even know where to start with this. So yes, 3I Atlas, we're just going to start with what it is. It
Yeah.
is a comet
Mm-hmm.
that is getting close to planet Earth. And there's a lot of fear in the media right now because like regular media is telling people they should be scared of it because it's a very significant comet that is entering into our solar system.
Good job, Mandy.
Thank you. But some people are trying to put fear into everything and say that there could be alien activity or contact or whatever it is. They're saying that this could be it when whatever,
Because
but
it's
that's not the case.
interstellar, right? Because it's
Yeah,
it's came from unknown origins that we have no access to at this time.
yeah, yeah. But we've been learning a little bit about it from the spiritual community. So we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about what it actually is from an energetic perspective and from a spiritual perspective, and share that there's nothing to be scared of. when this comet comes close to planet Earth. It's going to be the closest to planet Earth on the winter solstice. So I think it's December 20th, 21st. And that's when we're going to see a significant shift in our consciousness, because what it's actually doing is the energy, because Three Eye Atlas has its own consciousness. You and I talked about this. We both tapped into that. It isn't an alien being or an alien ship or anything like that. It has its own consciousness, and it's very obviously galactic, but also very ancient. And it's coming from I feel like a different solar system. But it's coming to support planet Earth on its shift in consciousness. And what it's doing is it's going to be sending us all of these light codes and activate all of this dormant DNA and ancient wisdom that we already hold within us. And it's going to do that through its own energy, but also through the support of the sun.
Yeah.
Where the sun is going to start throwing out more solar flares and larger solar flares. And we already know, and if you follow the space weather, or the Schumann resonance, you'll already know that it's very active, because it's like the comet is getting closer and closer to planet Earth now. But if you watch the Schumann resonance, there's an app. You can also watch space weather, and you'll see like major solar flare. Every time a solar flare hits planet Earth or comes into whatever range they're measuring, you'll get notification. And it's like, I think yesterday I looked, there was like 55 notifications
of like
in one day.
Yeah, I like the solar flare one. I don't necessarily fully understand it when I open up the app.
Yeah. I just see how many but it'll tell you major, minor,
radio, those ones whatever. I get. The Schumann, that one I struggle with understanding. So I literally just watch people who report on it because I find it like the app hard. Which is like so crazy.
Yeah, I think that it's important to find people, because obviously that's not our purpose. We're not here to talk about space weather and to share about all these activations and solar flares. We're here to support the people who are starting to awaken and give them a space to feel seen and heard and start to understand what they're going through. So there's people out there that you can connect with or become a part of their community if solar weather is very interesting to you. That's where we get our information. It's like watching the news, but just news we trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
But what I'm learning, or what we're learning about Three Eye Atlas, is that its main purpose is to really create this huge shift in consciousness. And it's almost like this big boost. Like I feel like it's this big quantum leap for humanity in consciousness, in spiritual awakening. And once this comet passes through, like closest to planet Earth or whatever, once it does its thing, and it's, I feel like a lot of people are going to start waking up, but also there is all of our gifts, like spiritual gifts, are going to become louder and louder. But I want to be careful when we talk about it becoming louder and louder, because we also have to have space to recognize that they're becoming louder and louder. And Spirit was showing me this, like this analogy, I guess. If you imagine that you're blind, or you go blind through life, then all of a sudden your hearing is going to start getting better, right? You're going to start hearing things differently. It's going to get louder. You're going to be more tuned into the sounds around you, so that because now you're seeing through your eyes as well in a way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So part of the message that they were wanting us to share through this podcast episode is that it's really important between now and the winter solstice to find space to be still and to be quiet and to almost be in the dark. So just like trying not to be distracted so much through our day. And that would include like our social medias and scrolling, doom scrolling, even like watching so much TV or what you're watching or whatever it is, taking note of how much you're distracting with your free time. Like if you have a free moment, are you scrolling? Or if you're sitting in the car waiting for your kids to come because you're picking them up, because that's what we do as parents, are you just sitting there scrolling? Are you know what I mean? Like how often are you scrolling on your phone? Because the message here is to try to find stillness and quietness so that we can start to recognize when our gifts are becoming louder and more intense. And I've been trying to do this myself, be more intentional with not spending as much time on my social media or on my phone. And Allie, you'll know this because you sent me a message the other day,
Gosh, damn it.
8:30, and it was like the next morning that I was like, oh my God, I didn't see your
I
message.
needed you.
Because I left my phone upstairs, so
Whatever.
I didn't pull for it. Like, because if it's beside me, I'm gonna, through commercials, if
Mm,
I'm watching TV with Nick, I'm gonna scroll because commercials suck. But I
so
intentionally left it
annoying.
upstairs. Yeah. But anyways, I wanted to say that because of the extra time I have, I've started to notice that
Mm,
very slightly an increase in my ability to tune in is a lot faster than it used to be.
I
For
love that.
Yeah. For example, I can, I can tune into somebody that I don't even know and instantly feel like not know things about them, but like get an overall sense of who they are as a person.
Yeah, or how they're feeling and stuff, which of course, like as empaths, we do. But I agree with you where I'm noticing it as if it's like written on their face in that
Yes.
sense. Like
It's louder.
it's so much louder where I'm not guessing
Hmm.
as much. I'm not like going, are they feeling, are they feeling upset? Like you're kind of, when you'd sit there and be like, something feels off, I'm not sure. It's more like, oh, okay, they're feeling, and you're just knowing right away that they're going through an emotion or there's something, and you're like, okay, that there's no doubt in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, I feel that, you know, with that coming in, and yeah, and like the being still, like, it's so funny that it's the time of year when people are probably the busiest, going into the holidays, and there's just, right, don't you find like this is the time of year that everybody's like, "Ah!" Every weekend there's something because there's parties and we got to go shopping and we got this event and this event and this event. So it's just funny that it comes the time of the year that we are probably the most distracted in
True.
life, right? Like, so very interesting. I like the idea, like if you're going to pick your kids up and just not do anything, like it's amazing how uncomfortable that feels.
It can for some people. And I remember somebody saying to me, like, I don't, because they were just newly out of a relationship and they were living on their own and, they were a single parent, but I remember them saying to me, I hate being alone
Mm.
because I do too much thinking or something along those
Oh.
lines. And I was like, oh, in my head, I'm like, that's terrible. Like that's so sad. Like I feel so bad.
Mhm.
But on the other side, I was like, but this is where you really get to empower yourself by allowing yourself to move through those emotions and those feelings and try to sort them out, like reflect on them. But
Mhm.
it does make a lot of people really uncomfortable to be in silence or to be with their own thoughts. But it's important to do. And even if we just did it 5 or 10 minutes a day, if
Mhm.
you're sitting in the parking lot, even just practicing like people watching and being like trying to tune into like their mood. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I love doing that where I'm just like watching people and I'm like, ooh, I get a sense of this about this person, or I get a sense about this person. Like we were at a concert the other night and we were watching two bands. One band, the main singer, I was like, ooh, that guy's so fucking arrogant. And the other guy was like, oh, that guy's like so full of heart. Like he's like in his heart space and he's just emanating joy. And the other guy's like, God, like this is a job to me and I don't really want to be here. Like there was a sense of entitlement there. I never
Mm.
talked obviously to either of them, but just
Mm.
watching them, I could sense that through their music and through their body, through their energy and obviously their body language. And like 5 years ago, Mandy never would have picked on it up on any of that.
No, no, absolutely. The one I had last week, we had to do these presentations at work, and not, a lot of people don't like standing up and talking and all of that. And somebody not on my team but on a different team got up, and I instantly, the moment he started talking, I was like, oh God, he's really struggling.
Oh.
And I could feel all it just like waved in. And I was like, oh my God, I hate that. I hate that feeling because I feel so bad.
Yeah.
And so then I'm the one that's like attentively watching and nodding my head. I look like a fucking loser.
You're trying to
Uh,
like overcompensate. So you
I
think, look at me, I'll make you feel good.
I know, and it is this sense of because I can feel the nervousness,
Mhm.
and
And
so
was this online or in person?
this was in person,
Okay.
and I was just like it just kind of slammed into me, like holy shit. I could feel all of it, and I just felt so bad because I hate when somebody feels that way because I know
Yeah.
that feeling, and
Yeah.
so yeah, and I just was like, my God, it's crazy how much it can affect you. And then, yeah, for sure, I was just kind of like, yeah, like, oh yeah, and everybody else is like on their freaking laptops, just like doing da 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 da, and I'm just like, yeah, oh yeah, that makes sense.
You're like interacting. That's
I
question.
know. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I just hate it
I
because yeah,
know.
I know. Um, I was looking it up. When you talk about activating dormant DNA and stuff like that, so it's said like between 40 to 60% of our DNA is dormant. That's that we don't know what it's there for. And
Yeah.
it's something that we're like only evolution will tell if it's to do all that. So when you think of that, like that's like, holy shit, there's a shit ton that these vessels can do that we have not tapped into. Even the brain. What do they say? How much percentage of the brain do we actually use?
I don't know, but it's not a lot.
No, which is unbelievable,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. And our DNA, like, I think it's important to remind people, and maybe you don't know this, but our
yeah.
DNA, like, it comes from our ancestors, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's like like, I always look at it like strings or cords of light of DNA that, connect us all through our ancestral lines on the
Mm-hmm.
maternal side and on the paternal side. And because our DNA is activating and by these light codes that are coming in from the sun that is being amplified by Three Eye Atlas, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of shit happening right now. And I don't know about, well, I do know about you, Allison, but I don't know about the listeners because you and I seem to have been going through similar experiences since the beginning of September, which is when the solar eclipses started
Mm-hmm.
in September, and things have been amplified to the sense where like shadows are being lightened, like the darkness is being lightened, and we're having to look at things in our lives, in relationships, in career, in ourselves. Things are being highlighted that we have maybe been avoiding or is uncomfortable to talk about, but we're being forced to talk about it or forced to face it, forced to reflect on it, forced to look at it. And it could be tied to karmic contracts. It could be tied to ancestral healing. It could be tied to all of the above, plus
Mm-hmm.
more. But I think that we're not the only ones that have been experiencing like a huge, uncomfortable, like a really upheavally uncomfortable energy
Upheavally.
in September, and it's all because of it's ramping
Mm-hmm.
up to this winter solstice. So we are being asked to clear things, to purge things, to recognize things, start healing things, start shifting patterns, behaviors. And you might be doing this easily, and you might be doing this with difficulty by holding on to things that you know you need to let go of
Mm-hmm.
because of fear,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
these are all coming up for a reason. And the reason is because when the winter solstice comes, things are going to be different.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and we are in the 9 year, right? This is the
Mhm.
year of closure, of endings, of all of these. And so it kind of also feels like a grand symphony, kind of this
Yeah.
like last push to purge whatever is no longer meant for you and to let it go. And in a way, even if you're holding on tight, it kind of feels like it's it's like going to get just so intense before that then it's like you either make the choice or it's
The
made
choice is
for
made
you.
for you.
Yeah, so that we can go into a year one in
Mhm.
numerology where it's like the new beginnings, we're starting fresh, like we're having all of these. So I think that's also um amplifying, like
Mhm.
purpose of why it's amplifying
Yeah.
too.
And there's some can be some overlap too. Like, so I don't want anybody to think that all of these endings or things are changing, and they're not going to change until the new year or till this winter solstice. Like things, you could have already let things go.
In the year.
Within this
Mm.
year, you could have already started shifting your mindset or your behaviors or your patterns or your habits,
Mm-hmm.
and started a new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
already in this year, and it'll just be amplified in the next year. And for example, something so simple, I started shifting my health in June, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew I need like for years I'm like I need to do this, and for whatever reason this year was
Yeah.
the year that I had the motivation, the clarity, the direction, the support, the guidance, like all that sort of stuff to do that. And so I've been working on doing that since June. And I knew, I've known for years that I needed to shift my eating in order to help shift my vibration. And this was just the year that it happened. But that didn't happen now. That happened earlier in the year. So
Oh,
I want to
totally. This is
make sure.
more like it's like shaking the
Yeah.
ones like when you said like holding on to or doing or just like having a hard time letting go or whatever it is, like maybe you've been feeling it, maybe you've been like ugh. It's more of that where now we're getting to where it's kind of like it's all the ones that you haven't maybe let go or the people that have held on really tight. I hold on to things really tight till the very last minute. So it's like those things where then all of a sudden it's like just gonna amplify and be like, wow, and just shake it out.
Oh.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
part of this, I just also want to, I feel like I'm just channeling all this right now, but
Go for it.
I feel like they're also sharing with me there's all of this debris that we're being asked. Like you created this visual where it's like you're shaking the last
Mm-hmm.
bits of debris out.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're taking, like when we're releasing that debris, we're creating space. And we need the space to be available for this activation that's coming,
Mm-hmm.
for the gifts that are coming online, for us to be able to recognize them, because anybody who's going to be going through this shift is almost like the first wave of beings that are going to experience this so that we can then turn around and support others who will recognize and notice a shift in us and
Yeah.
a lot of people in general, but then be able to support their journey to be able to go through something similar if they choose. But also very important to remember that this is a choice, and you
Mm-hmm.
get to choose whether you're going
Yeah.
to create that space or
Or
whether
not.
you're not going to create that space. And if you don't, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to take longer for you to experience,
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to experience in the long run.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point to make. Because that's something you and I have both experienced where we'll get messages and stuff from spirit and they'll be like super fucking loud and you're like, "Okay, I get it. It's in my mind, but I need to make the decision," right?
Yeah.
That was like, the ending of my marriage. Like yeah, those signs were intensifying and I was kind of like, I got it, but this is also life and you
Mhm.
can't just be like the stars told me to and I'm just gonna do it, right? Like this is where there's pieces to everything, and at the end of the day you have to feel it in your body and know when the right time is, type of thing. And so yeah, and so I think in that sense, because a lot of us can get stuck on like, oh my god, I don't feel ready, but if I'm not ready then I'm gonna miss the boat and it's not gonna, no, that's not, like, we all have that free will, and like you said, it just like it kind of shows in like different timelines and paths. And, sometimes it's like, oh, well, if you jump into this timeline, which is maybe super uncomfortable,
Mhm.
but it's a fast track to where you need to go, or you stay on this one, which is more comfortable, but then going to maybe have a bit more lessons, or it takes a bit longer to get there. Either way, it's your choice. It doesn't matter. Not one is good or bad. I think in that sense is understanding, like, either one is there's lessons
Yeah.
to be learned in either path, type of
Yeah,
thing.
and I want to say something that I struggle with,
Mm,
because I struggle with okay, I know and I sense and I feel and I'm I'm being guided to create more space so that I can receive and open up and activate more and more.
mm,
But what I don't agree with, or what I don't I guess what I struggle with is like I just don't envision myself being somebody who just sits in meditation. Um, throughout the day to just like open up and receive. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
there's a stigma or a stereotype with somebody who is super spiritual
hmm.
and receives guidance or even maybe channels different beings and stuff like that. There's a stereotype that they look a certain way, that they eat a certain way, that they behave a certain way, and they don't engage in certain activities. And yes, I'd say 90 whatever percent of people maybe are that way, but I feel like I can also do the majority of those things, but I don't look like the stereotypical spiritual person.
Mm-mm.
I don't like, I will meditate, and I will sit in meditation on my meditation pillow, but I
Hmm.
don't do it like that every single day, but I do connect daily. I wear a hoodie. I don't wear a mala.
I wear a hoodie.
Like I don't wear a mala and like bamboo clothing, do you know, linen
No,
clothing.
but you sage and put some
Yeah.
of the witchy things around, or you
I
have
like
a
I
mantle,
hold crystals, right? I have an altar like I do,
altar. Oh,
I don't
geez, so yeah,
call it an altar. I just like to put out my pretty things and connect to them and I give gratitude and offerings in the sense of like lighting candles or whatever, but it doesn't have to look like it does on Instagram. It doesn't have to look like the person that is so spiritual that you follow on Instagram or that you might know in real life. You don't have to walk around barefoot in the grass anytime you're on the grass. You know what I mean? Like,
ew, you'll never catch me
you
doing
never
that.
get you.
Sick. That's sick.
You don't
I
have
know.
to cold dip. You don't have to, you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Like, you can still be extremely
You don't have
connected.
to eat organic.
No, you can be extremely connected and
Hmm.
do all of the things the way that you feel called to do them.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, and I think that's where you and I have been different in this community world of spirituality. Not to say nobody else is like this, but I
Hmm.
do see that how we have approached it differently in being that more down to earth, more tangible, more because again, like the whole purpose of the podcast was like we're just two chicks that are moms that work full time that are literally gabbing on the couch about some of these cool things,
Yeah.
and we're like, let's just record it. It's not
Yeah.
like we were sitting there and going in ceremony every time we talked. We're just like, oh my God, did you fucking hear about this? Like, what does this mean? Like it was just
Mhm.
the down to earth, natural, kind of like just conversations that we were having.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that was very apparent. We recognized that a lot when we did some vendor events. I think that
Mm,
it really stood out when we did vendor
yes.
events. That, oh shit, no, okay, we're very different from the typical
Yeah.
stereotypical type of thing, because yeah, I don't know if there was a spiritual table that was
Like
like
us.
ours. Where we're just kind of like, yeah, I don't know, it's just
There
two
was
people.
not.
There was not,
But
no.
it's important to know that you don't have to change who you are.
Mm-mm.
Like, still, like, the name of the game in life is being authentic.
Yeah,
Right?
and if it lights you up, if the purple and the stars and the moons and all of those things that like the that aspect, or wearing the whatever you called it, you know, clothing,
Mala
mala,
and the
or
bamboo clothes and the linen clothes.
the clothes, and like if that's the thing, like if that calls, absolutely, like then
Yes.
you do that. But if it doesn't, then absolutely you don't. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah, like that's the thing. And it's like, yeah, we can sit here and swear and curse, and it's like, oh, is that, very, I don't even want to say,
Spiritual.
yeah,
Are
spiritual
you,
of you. And you're
are
just
you very
like,
connected?
yeah, you're like, yeah, I am. I was actually having a conversation with my son um about frequency and our
Mm.
vibration and stuff like that. And so this kind of spurred from why I called Mandy,
Yeah.
who didn't pick up. That's
Because
fine.
because
That's
I
fine.
feel called to,
Whatever.
got to do what we feel called to do.
Yeah, we do. We do.
It's when you're living
I never
authentically.
need you.
I know. But tell us the story why you called me because it is actually very interesting.
Yeah, it
And
was
it
very
does tie
interesting.
into Three Eye Atlas. This is,
It does.
part of what is happening. So we need to create the space to be able to listen and tune in and understand. But go for it.
Yeah. So Sunday evening, my son he's with his dad,
Your younger
and
one, right?
huh?
Your younger son.
My younger son, yeah,
Yeah.
my, you know,
Your little
gifted
alien.
one, my little alien. And if anybody hasn't listened to that, he was seeing spirits when he was younger, blah, blah, blah. It was part of what pushed me on this path. So, but that's been turned off for a while now. And yeah, so I get a text from him and he's like, Mom, I got a sense of heat in my body. And when I looked at the glass doors, and I'm scared. So I instantly was like, I don't understand what he's talking about. Like, what? Heat from your body? What? But I didn't give a shit. It was, I'm scared. That's all that mattered to me.
Yeah.
I'm scared. So I called him right away and I was like, what's going on, buddy? And he was very, you know, shaken. He was like barely talking or even just kind of being like, because he was scared. And
Mhm.
so, I'm trying to understand as much as possible. It was like, I'm like, so where did you feel the heat? On my body. And I'm like, did you see something in the glass doors? No. And I was like, okay, okay. So I'm like, what scared you? The heat. And I was like, okay, like, and he's like, but it was only for a second and went away. And I was like, okay. So, I'm talking him through this and trying to like grasp it and understand it and, tell him to, sorry if you hear the banging. I don't
I
know
don't
if
hear it.
somebody's okay, doing construction upstairs or something.
Noisy neighbors.
Yeah. So basically, like I ended up kind of talking him down. He said he was even shaking and had him go sleep with his older brother that night. But he wasn't with me, so I couldn't really sit there and like grill. But I knew I was like, this has to do with paranormal,
Mhm.
metaphysical something, right? I knew it had to do with something that I do. And I was kind of like, okay, is he activating, is he coming back online? And so when you and I spoke the next day, because I was just, it's so hard when it's your own children and stuff, and I had my kind of like ideas pop in, but I always welcome having a conversation with somebody that's also into this. And like Mandy and I, do this all the time because they'll see it from a different perspective and stuff. And you instantly were like, well, you tell what you were instantly like that when I explained that to you.
Well, I instantly saw like a galactic being at the window, and it was almost like a check-in and an activation for Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels connected to Three Eye Atlas with like it was almost like a preparation. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
preparation for all like for the activation and the energy and the solar flares and everything that's coming in, all that energy. It felt like it was almost like a check-in session to just to see if he could receive it all or to like to prepare him in some way or another.
How
Um,
he would react,
yeah,
all of that. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it felt really important that you get him like almost like when you're coaching a student for him to sort of tell you so that he could start to recognize next time when
Mm-hmm.
and just telling him, okay, next time this happens or if this ever happens, blah blah blah, then ask questions or and I also felt like you should introduce him to his spirit guide
Mm-hmm.
so that he has like his spirit guide there to help him and he can ask questions to his spirit guide if you're not there or so he just feels a little bit more connected and safe.
Yeah, in that aspect. Yeah. I remember you saying like you to ask him like what made you scared, right?
Yes.
Like, but by the time he came back to me the next day, right, he'd already had conversations, with his dad and stuff. And, it was more of the like, oh, you must have seen the reflection of the plant and the thing, so you
Yeah.
start to get these stories placed in and then you start to build off that, so it's like, oh yeah, I must have been this or it must have been right. So he got to me when it was kind of like, yeah, it must have been the plant, but I don't know. Um and I so I'm not going to sit there and try to influence either way. I don't want to be
Mhm.
like, well, it was an alien, and scare the poor guy, so
Yeah.
it's a very
Totally.
kind, yeah, you have to really walk this line with it to show like you support and that I'm open, and that if it's something else, but also not scare them,
Yeah.
and also not place things in their own kind of like reality. And so it was definitely a more difficult kind of conversation to navigate. We did talk more about it. I did kind of say, like, you remember when you were younger and you would see things like, did it feel anything like this, or was there something? And he ended up opening up saying, this was really weird. He ended up opening up and saying he was like a skinwalker.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah. And so I'm like, I don't know what to say, because I don't want to. So there was like, I
Face
don't want
fear.
to place fear. I also don't want to like not validate, or I want him to be able to say whatever he thinks it is and me not be like, oh, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
Because how is he going to open up about other things? And who am I to say that skinwalkers aren't real? There's been
Well,
many encounters of people talking about this. And, when we talk about urban legends and all these things, whatever, the unknown, the unseen, the unvisual, like all of this is just not real type of thing.
did he describe to you what he thought a skinwalker was?
Oh yeah. Yeah. A shapeshifter. That he knew
Oh,
everything. And then I said, well, how do you know so much about skinwalk? How did you hear about skinwalkers? Oh, well, my friend, reminded me of them like in grade 4. Well, he's in grade 6 now, right? I was like, oh, okay. And then so this is where I brought up, I said, well, my understanding of skinwalkers is it's kind of a lower energy, a lower frequency energy. And typically, like lower frequency energies are attracted to lower frequency energies. I was trying to like not dismiss what he was saying, but also give him reassurance that it wasn't. And so I was like, and he's like, do I have a lower frequency? So then this opened up the conversation of like, oh, nobody. I'm like, and I'm explaining what lower and higher frequency is. Oh, but sometimes I do get mad. Okay. So now I'm like, all right, like it's really hard. Like I'm like, okay, how do I, because I don't want him to feel like he can't be mad or
yeah.
do something bad, because if he's that, then he's a low frequency and the skinwalkers are going to come get him. And I was like, I even said, I haven't heard of any skinwalkers around here. Yeah, just in the States, right? And I was just like, oh my God. And what's funny actually, is like 2 weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago, I came across a video of a person who encountered a skinwalker. And it was like, it was a 911 call. And you could literally hear, like, I was like, I couldn't find the fakeness in it.
I have
And
no idea what a skinwalker is. I've
so,
never come
yeah,
across.
I'm gonna send this to you because it was crazy,
Okay.
crazy. But my understanding is that they're it's
Wait, don't influence me. I want to tap into it first.
okay, yeah,
And
you
then
do
we'll
that.
compare
You do
notes.
that. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do that. But this is like how it all kind of went. So it's like, okay, how, as a parent, how do you navigate
Mhm.
between these two things? And I brought out the David Hawkins chart and showed him, like, on the chart, which kids are very well aware of emotions because teachers teach about emotions,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I was kind of talking about like, these are the lower vibrations, these are the higher. Oh, well, sometimes I said, I'm in the lower too. I'm like, I'm with grief. He's like, I have grief about Betty, our dog who
Mhm.
passed away. And I was like, that's okay. I said, but it's the fact that if we have like a balance and we kind of move in it, it's more when we're stuck in this lower all the time, our
Mhm.
frequency is lower, which like energy attracts like energy, right? So I'm hoping I cleared it for him to
Sounds like
understand.
it. Yeah.
And he's asked different questions since then. I did offer and ask if he, wants to meet a spirit guide, and he was like, nope. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, why not? Mm-mm, I don't want to.
Really
So I don't know if it's a fear type thing. I'm not sure.
interesting.
So yeah, we talked about it again. later, and he kind of seemed a bit more open. I kind of just described like it's like you close your eyes and it's like, in your imagination, and it's going to be like, oh, you're on a beach and you get to imagine it. And he was kind of like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, it's more just so that you have like this kind of backup, right? Type of thing.
Yeah. Just get him
Yeah.
to when he's ready, listen to our guided meditation to meet your spirit guide.
Yeah. And that's what I'm gonna do. And
We'll get Carter to do it too, and then they can compare notes.
absolutely. And I know that Tanner, like I've been told this a few times that, part of my purpose was to clear the path, clear the ways for him to step into this type of work. And that, he was active when he was younger. Once
Mhm.
it got me on the path, he turned it off, but eventually this would come back online. And so it makes sense with this kind of three eye atlas coming through and activating people that
Mhm.
we're going to maybe see a lot of people like Tanner, our children, like people around us that all of a sudden are having these um awakenings, all of a sudden being like, I have no idea why I'm here, but I'm feeling it. I had a client last night. It was exactly that. Never had a reading by a psychic before. All of a sudden was just feeling this pull, like, I don't know what's I don't even know why I'm here. Type of thing. Like, I don't even know why I'm here. But something's just making me feel like I need to look at this more. And,
Interesting.
and even said that they felt like they're going through a tough time and they felt like their spirit guide was no longer with them, but then explained it to me that they weren't even aware that they had a spirit guide beforehand. Like this is like it wasn't like they were conscious and aware that they had a spirit guide, but all of a sudden something shifted and they were like, I feel like something was there and it's not there anymore. Like they couldn't even explain it. And I was like, fascinating.
That is very fascinating. And I think we're gonna, I know, I don't think I know,
No.
people are gonna have some very interesting experiences, like similar to what, not similar or the same as Tanner, but like, as in, like, what was that? Or I can't explain that, but
Mm-hmm.
it happened and I know it happened. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that things like that are going to happen, become more and more often to people,
Mm-hmm.
or just the deep knowings. Like, and it's so subtle. And we've always talked about how subtle
Mm.
energy is and how subtle this work is. When you're trying, and it kind of makes me mad, not mad, but like annoyed. Like we have been developing and practicing and connecting to our intuition for over 5 years intentionally. And now all these motherfuckers are gonna are just gonna be able to do it with so much ease. And I'm just like, come on. It
You're like, this was so hard.
was
But
so
I
hard.
don't think but the thing is, yes, so maybe it's going to be like, oh, we've paved it and made it a bit easier. But
Yeah.
the journey of it,
Yes.
I don't see that being easier in the sense of the healing aspect of it, because I
Well,
don't believe you can go through a spiritual awakening without healing and releasing.
I agree. And I think I feel bad because the people who are just, it's going to be like these spontaneous awakenings, and it's going to
Yeah.
be
Rug
hard for
pulls.
some people because then, like I said, in the fall for us, we've done so much healing, but there was still so much more healing to do. And the
It's
spotlight was
coming.
placed on, the final aspects of the shadows in our lives. And it was like, here, don't forget about this shadow and don't forget about this
Yeah.
shadow. And it's like boom, boom. And
You're
then
like,
I think,
shut up.
yeah, all these people are going to have these spontaneous awakenings and they're going to look at their life and be like, holy shit. And then everything's going to shift very quickly because they're going to see things so clearly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, it is. It's crazy because, like, even just talking to a client last night about, because I could see they were beginning a spiritual awakening. I could see they were being brought to this, and they're just at the precipice of starting this whole like,
Yeah.
and when I talked about the spiritual awakening is like, we live life with the viewpoint of just this tunnel vision, and then when we have an awakening, it's that tunnel's taken away and we actually see the rest of the room, where before we didn't see that room. And when all of a sudden those kind of blinders, those little things, those walls that go away, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of like, what the fuck? oh my God, I've been lied to. I've been all of these things. Like there's so many aspects of it that kind of come up that you'll have all of these like, aha, beautiful, like, what? That's amazing. I didn't even know that. And then like, excuse me? Like it's a roller coaster. And I think like in that aspect, I'm happy to hold somebody's hand
Yeah.
through that and to to reassure them like, my God, it's totally normal. And or
Yes.
and I think that's what you need when you're
Yeah.
going through that is like, it's normal, it's normal, it's normal, because there's many times that you're like, you and I, thank God we had each other,
Oh
that
my God,
it would be
yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm feeling this, oh my God, me too. And then you're like, I
Even
just feel
still
so much
now.
better. Yeah, we
Even
do
even still now, we'll
it.
talk and we'll be like, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And we can validate for each other that we're feeling similar things, we're going through similar things, or we'll have sage advice for the other person and how to move through it.
Right, absolutely. I'm like, it's so helpful. So I'm excited to see what kind of unfolds
Yeah.
between now and the winter solstice on December
Yeah.
21st. What?
Too, but find your peace,
Yeah.
find your stillness. If you can create stillness on a regular basis between now and then, just allow yourself to embrace the darkness of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's no coincidence that this is happening on the dark, like for us in the northern hemisphere, the dark side of the season where, it's it's
We
just
hermit, we hermit,
dormant.
right?
Yeah,
It
we're
gets dark so
meditating.
early now. I feel like there's so many times I'm like, oh man, I should go to bed, and it's only 8 o'clock. And I'm like, oh God damn it. I'm like, it happens every night. I'm not used to it yet. And I'm like, it's only 8 o'clock. I thought it was like way later. I know. Well, this was fun.
It was a good
Always great
conversation.
chatting.
Always.
We hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you enjoy us, we would love for you to spread the word. Allie and Mandy, super cool. And or write a review. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Okay, there you go. Um, write a review, or yeah, well, I don't know, share it, whatever. That's cool.
Yeah. Share it.
Share it, share it.
Find
Okay.
stillness and share it.
Yeah. Do
Your tasks for this week.
it. Do it good. All
Okay.
right. We will see you next time.
Bye.